Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Charles Hughes. We know him as Chuck Hughes around these parts. We got Mordoff. That's basically a Halsey build. Nearly identical, just slightly faster reload and better protected armaments, as opposed to better smoke in the slot 4 estuary domination mode game here. We're going to be talking about the game. I'm going to be comparing this ship to the other Tier 6 American destroyers. Some people are already questioning, why do we need this ship? Does have its place, I think. I don't know if you uh, need all of them necessarily, but Venom. Well, I'll give you the breakdown going from torpedo boat to pure gunboat, in my opinion. Now, of course, we got Venom, the campaign ship. That thing has more torps than knows what to do. Then next on that spectrum, still primarily a just torpedo boat. I would put Sims in there. Chuck Hughes, I would probably put in the middle. We'll take a look at the stats a little bit more as this goes on. Benson, I would put more on the gunboat side of things. And Kidd, of course, the sheriff, all the way in the gunboat. Now, you can have a good debate, a good hearted and healthy debate between the Benson and the Hughes on that list. Because the Hughes, why I'm putting it in the middle, it's got 4 guns. Okay, Benham and Kidd have 5. So that's 25% more firepower over the other destroyers in the lines, which is significant. Okay, they all the same stats, reload, damage. Well, strike that. I just noticed the Benson actually has 100 more damage than HE on the HE and AP than all the other ones. But they all otherwise basically have the same exact gun stats up and down the line. But 4 guns versus 5 guns, once again, that's a huge difference in damage per minute output. And, how big of a threat they are, the guns themselves. So that's why I put the Hughes in the middle. Now, where the debate comes in is the Benson is longer range torps. 9.2, I want to say. Let me take a look here. Yeah, 9.2 kilometers. Chucky Hughes, 6.4. What's going on with this, though? We got 64 knots on the Hughes, 55 knots on the Benson. So they're kind of, they're very close to each other. And, some aspects of the torps are better on the Chuck Hughes. Some are better on the Benson. The guns purely go to the Benson, of course. Kidd has them all beat in terms of HP. HP on the Chuck Hughes and the Benson, 16.5 thousand. Kidd, 18,680 to be precise. On my builds, I got Sims, of course. Trying to nuke that terrible. He does dodge the torps there, but he's going down. Pretty good fight. We didn't get to narrate that one. But we'll get more into the game strategy as this goes on here. I want to focus more on what the ship actually is first off. So the Kidd, of course, has the extra health and the heals. Okay, so I think taking away the Benham for sure, which is just kind of a torpedo maniac. Still got functional guns, but I never thought the guns were that great on it. And then Sims, I still put that one more on the torpedo end of the spectrum. Slow torps once again, but they got a lot more range on those. So I'd put those kind of more on the torpedo boat end of the spectrum. I'd still say this is more, it does the American playstyle well, counter to the destroyers, capture the bases, so on and so forth. So it's probably, on balance, still more of a gunboat, but in comparison with the other Tier 6s, that's how I would lay it out on the spectrum. So Venom, which I don't think is available, maybe. Oh, actually, I think it is now. Green XP. That one, if you want a more traditional torp-focused destroyer, that usually the Venom I think is the least useful to have on your team, but that's just because they're not really people that try and only torp. Of course, you guys know what I think about that. Usually, I think that's a bad play, but that one does that role the best. Then you got Sims, Chuck Hughes, Benson, and then Kidd. So that's my breakdown on it. There's other minute differences as well, but in general, we're looking at a 5.4 detection of my build. We're looking at a quick reloading, 3.1 seconds up and down the line there. Good damage. We're just the key difference between this Benson, one less turret, huge, and faster torps, which the reload 110 seconds versus 109. So there's a negligible difference there. Roughly the same damage. And keep in mind the Kidd's torps have significantly more damage than both of these. Kidd, if you don't know what it is, it's got the heal. It's got 1 set of launchers. Pretty good AA. I think it's got the best AA out of all these. But we call it the sheriff around these parts. It's just born to kill enemy destroyers, which is what I love to do when I'm playing it. But this one does a pretty good job as well. You saw, now we had a Pensacola supporting us when we were fighting that Tbull earlier. Now, that's a dangerous fight, of course. Tbull's a very good ship, but we kind of used the island to make sure that we had control of that fight. So we let him rush. Either he could run away from the Pensacola or rush the Pensacola, but he didn't know where I was. He didn't see where I was in that fight. That's why we snuck off. Then we popped back up on a screen and started blasting him. So now we're capturing the cap here. We're going to be jumping more into this game here. Look at what's going on here. We got a CNOP to our west. He's nose in on 2 broadside battleships. Drop the anchor, don't move any more forward. Force them to spread out, because right now those guys are tethered to each other. They're actually refueling in the middle of a dogfight, which is not recommended. You don't want to be that close to your ships, of course, and especially not against a Soviet battleship who specializes in just pointing the nose of the ship right at the opponent's tank and all sorts of damage and just whittling these guys down. So this fight favors the CNOP, but he's going forward, going forward, going forward. The closer he gets, the more danger he's in, and he's actually going to go pull so far forward here that the broadside is going to be exposed and he's going to die. So recognizing what's going on here, I have to make a decision. Do I stay over here, try to support, keep this guy alive if possible, and more importantly, keep control of this cap, which we've been spending the first third of the minute trying to establish control over. And now the question is, how much of our time and resources being the playmaking currency HP, how much of that do we want to dedicate to what's going on over here? And now we do a good job. It's primarily the CNOP, of course, that kills the Byron, but we chip in a little bit. But he's fully broadside, so Nagato can kill him. Hopefully he's got his AP loaded. He can kill him in one shot. Looks like he gave him a nice jab there, and he's going to finish him off in probably one more salvo. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to try and, at least stick him with some permanent damage. Looks like he was on fire there. Potentially damage Khan. We'll see once we zoom in again. I think he damaged Khan. We're stopping to shoot here to drop spot, hoping those torps hit. If he just uses damage control party and then those torps hit him, that could be a coup de grace on him, assuming the flood sticks. Looks like he's probably going to dodge those torps here, or potentially not. I'm still trying to keep the scene up alive, basically, even though it's kind of a fool's errand at this point in time. And I was hoping, okay, those torps looking pretty decent. He actually goes right through like a naturally forming gap there, though, unfortunately. So he kills the CNOP as expected, and Jervis pops up. Great play by him, recognizing what's going on over here. Opportunity to flip the cap rather than just kind of sitting back where he was. He rushes us, chimes in with the guns. We got the smoke blocking the Nagato behind us. I want to rush this Jervis if possible, because there's only got 1 destroyer left, right? And we have 3. So, we'll talk more about that cruiser in a moment that they got. But if we can kill their final destroyer, that limits how easily they can flip these caps and, of course, torp some of these battleships, which we got aplenty. And, the destroyer is going to have a much easier time dealing with our destroyers, the enemy destroyers from his perspective than the battleships will be. So Jervis has every incentive to stay alive here, and I have every incentive to kill him. I don't even mind if we die here. We just got to make sure we get him dead. So I don't want to leave this team alive, and why is that? Because they've been hovering around D the entire game without being able to secure it. So the fact that it's taken half the game and they're not really making much progress, they control the cap, yes, but they're not making much progress. None of those destroyers are coming to sea or moving around the base. So I think they're too focused on what's going on over there. So they're not giving me the signals I'm looking for to that would scream reliable teammates. Okay, so I don't want to die here, and we didn't die there, luckily. Now we have an option to continue to shoot this Nagato since we're already spotted, or do we drop spot? Probably should just drop spot here. If he hits us with a couple of good shots, we could potentially die. But getting back to the point here, you got different considerations, because once again, I don't know exactly what's going on over there, but those guys could kill our team over there. If this guy can flip A and then they get on D, well, all of a sudden I'm trying to flip bases back, and there's a lot on my plate if things go awry over in the east, which very well could be. So playing risky here, you don't need to be necessarily playing like this, especially since we have 3 caps and we're going to have a cap advantage for a while. I can reset this guy. I can just go by these islands as I'm about to, as he's about to disappear, because I'm about to drop spot. I can take a couple shots. We'll see that tactic here in a moment. So it's not, it's not that pressing that we need to kill this guy. Certainly, I'd like to get him dead here because then we can for sure turn our attention off to the other side. But looking at the composition, getting back to that cruiser, it's shocking to me that he's still alive at this point in time, and I believe when we actually look at him, he's going to have the majority of his health. Now, one cruiser in the game with a high destroyer count. We have 3 destroyers, so that as the main counter of the destroyers, it's already that valuable, but it's also the easiest for the battleships to kill. So that guy should really be the belle of the ball.
Oh, and you, my friend, would be the belle of the ball. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap.
This situation. I don't understand why people don't shoot cruisers. It's so important to do that, especially when we're trying to set up this game. You're going to see me ping this guy vigorously until the battleship dies. Then, of course, we're going to stop suggesting to kill that guy because I don't want my destroyers to open fire on him in the middle of the water. But here's what I was talking about earlier. Okay, we know we're about to disengage, so we go shoot, get whatever we can get on him, spray him down there, and then get the reset. We got a fully resetted base. That's going to shave another, I don't know, what is it, 30 seconds a minute? I can't even remember off the top of my head for domination mode, but it's going to take them that much longer to capture the cap. Of course, we got some nice bonus points in terms of XP and score, which is always good. But that's the main reason to do that play. We could reset them there and keep that side. They're going to get it for sure, unless we happen to set that guy on fire. But the longer it's neutral right now, and because it's contested, it's not generating points, the better it is. Because this game's definitely looking like it's coming down to score. We got 2 destroyers over there with the Boise, and this is why we wanted the Boise dead, earlier, because now the Boise just charge in at the destroyer's last known position or where you think they are, spot them, keep your sonar on, make sure they don't get you with a surprise torp, and then kick the crap out of them. And now we're going to see what happens with this Chuck Hughes over here. Maybe I'm the type of guy who's going to just start shooting my guns, and all of a sudden they win on kills, because they're not going to win this game on score, right? They're 4 points every 5 seconds. Those type of caps, I think it's about a 48-point swing if I remember. But you can envision 50 points per cap per minute, right? But now that they're going to be, for 2 caps per side, neither team's generating a lead. But now that we got 3 caps per side, they got 1, or 3 caps, they only have 1. We're gaining that 50 points here until they can stop that, okay? So controlling these caps late game, especially in these situations where we're losing ships. I don't know why the destroyer's dying. Well, of course I know why. It's because the cruiser found them and killed them, most likely. But these guys need to be bailing out of here. And the Maz over there, I think, for the most part, is going to do a good job. I think later in the game, we might see some shots flying at him, suggesting that he might have shot his guns, which there's no reason to do at this point in time. But for the most part, he's just going to disengage, sail away. Same thing with us. Okay, we can try and torp this guy as we're getting out of here, but killing him, not really going to have an effect on the score. Because again, if they can tie it up by capturing D, then the score is going to stay the same. And if they can get a 3rd cap, which is going to be a tall order, this guy's going to have to push into B here, of course, and capture it. By the time that's all said and done, then they're going to be getting 50 points per minute with that 3 cap lead to 1. Or actually, no, they'd probably get 100, right? Because they're getting, 1 of the caps is canceling out, and then 2 of them will be generating. So they would still gain score, but the fact that it's taken them this long to focus on the caps, they only got 2 minutes left to play. Because the lead is built in at this point in time, then they can't, win on the score. So all these destroyers have to do, stay alive. You'd often see it like right there, like, okay, I'm the player, I'm the destroyer player. I know the torps are going to miss. Then I start shooting with my guns. You see it constantly all the time. Really bad play because he's close enough now. He just blasts me with the guns. I'm dead. And then the Maz, again, we don't know what's going on over there, if he's playing perfectly or if he's kind of goofing off. And I don't want to rely on random teammates ever when I can control the outcome of the game myself. Strongly prefer to do to keep control of the outcome of the game for myself. So we're just going to continue to sail off here, trying to trend towards A, okay, because I figure, he was basically going north for the most time. If I can get on the side and hit him with a torp, great. I'd still like to kill him. We'd take the kill, we'd take the score, and of course, from the strategy standpoint, we would maintain the the control of the base, right? So, you know, you want to be thinking about that opportunity, but we're not going to do anything stupid here. We're much more focused on staying out of his detection, or keeping him out of our blue detection ring on the map, than trying to kill him. Even though this guy, he's got what, 4k health left. It looks like each bar on the health bar is 5k if you don't know that. So you can get a good feel on him. Theoretically, I could kill him, right? I got a quick reloading ship. I can get, you know, maybe 500 per salvo for hitting the superstructure. You're going to even get more if you're really aiming properly. But, like I said, he could very easily chime in with the guns. You can see his shots are coming towards that guy. I don't know if they're just randomly shooting, which is definitely possible, or he's intermittently shooting when we're not looking at him, and then they're trying to respond. Here, this is probably the biggest thing, you know, goes against what I've been saying here, but we had the kill shot on him, trying to distract him. I just don't want him to be able to dodge as easily. But then you can see these guys immediately return fire. So luckily the game clock's running out, or we could have been on the path to it, harming our team's chances by getting killed there. Anyway, that's a look at the Chuck Hughes for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. We got lots of World of Warships. It's coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and see y'all later.